just today, it was reported by so many news outlets that 9 U.S. citizens that were in Mexico for a wedding were killed in an ambush by the drug cartels. Now, it's not known which drug cartel specifically committed this act, but it's not out of the ordinary from what they have done in the past. What is out of the ordinary is that it's now involving U.S. citizens. So let's get into one of the articles here in the Wall Street Journal. Gunmen in Mexico ambushed 3 SUVs carrying U.S. citizens, killing 3 women and 6 children, leading President Trump to call for a war on Mexican drug cartels and ramping up pressure on Mexico's leader to counter record levels of violence. And when this article says specifically to counter record levels of violence, they're not kidding. I'm currently in foreign relations while I'm studying here at WSU, and I believe I actually mentioned my criticism for my the teacher who teaches that. But anyway, we're currently in the middle of a simulation. We're trying to go and expand on the situation, on what to do in terms of dealing with the drug trade as well as the cartels and terrorism, etc. And there are a lot of factions from Canada, the US, to Mexico, to the drug cartels, to the terrorists, press, UN, you name it. And as I was preparing for my role as a congressman in this simulation, I saw a lot of articles that just show how bad the situation is in Mexico. In October, one of El Chapo's sons was arrested. He was in Mexico City, I believe, when this occurred, and the cartel apparently surrounded the convoy that was supposed to eventually send him to jail. They were forced to release him. They allowed El Chapo's son, the son of a major cartel leader, to be let go. And there are even reports that he may have actually been, the next leader of one of the cartels. Although there are so many cartels that I cannot really, I can't remember what El Chapo's was. So I'm sorry for that. Regardless, this alone has caused so much problems. This one act has caused so much problems. And it's kind of funny how the Mexican president himself actually said that this was a good thing, that they were trying to prevent the loss of life at that specific moment. And I find that really funny and sad at the same time, because of the next thing I'm going to be talking about. Just 2 weeks ago, there was basically a gun battle in the city of Culiacan. I can't pronounce that name. Sorry if anyone knows how the hell I'm supposed to pronounce that. I'm sorry for butchering that. I'm not good with these names a lot of the time. So Culiacan. The drug cartel actually, launched an attack on the government forces in the city, killing at least 8 people. And this has been after an operation by the Mexican government in order to try to arrest again El Chapo's son, but that apparently failed. The cartels decided to launch a counterattack, and this forced the Mexican security forces to leave the city. To leave the city to the cartels. This is how bad the situation is in Mexico. And it doesn't surprise me that this massacre alone happened. But nonetheless, this is getting a lot of people riled up. As we already seen, President Donald Trump has called for a war on the Mexican government. or not the Mexican government, the drug cartels. Sorry about that. And he even tweeted about this specific situation. Here, let me try to look at it. Try to find it here. Where is it? Here we go. A wonderful family and friends from Utah got caught between two vicious drugs cartels who were shooting at each other, with the result of being many great American people killed, including young children and some missing. If Mexico needs or requests help in cleaning out these monsters, the United States stands ready, willing and able to get involved and do the job quickly and effectively. The great new president of Mexico has made this a big issue, but the cartels have become so large and powerful that you sometimes need an army to defeat an army. And in another tweet following up after that, this is the time for Mexico, with the help of the United States, to wage war on the drug cartels and wipe them off from the face of the earth. We merely await a call from their great new president. Again, this is just a major big issue. I'm not surprised that Donald Trump has himself has made this a major headline. I know that. Know that this would require a response, considering that U.S. citizens were killed. But I'm also talking about how involved he is about the immigration issue, as well as the drug trade, as well as the situation going down in Mexico. He's been on that case for 3 years, so it doesn't surprise me that he's actually looking in, trying to go about doing something like this. But do you know what's really sad, especially with today? After calling or requesting from the Mexican president to work out some kind of agreement to coordinate their forces in order to deal with the cartels, he said specifically this in an article from Common Dreams. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Tuesday swiftly rejected an offer from U.S. President Donald Trump to send American troops over to the border to wage war on drug cartels after assailants killed at least 9 members of a fundamentalist Mormon family in northern Mexico. During a press release Tuesday, López Obrador, commonly known as AMLO, thanked Trump and any foreign government which wants to help in the aftermath of the gruesome killing of dual U.S. American citizens, which authorities believed was carried out by cartel members. But in these cases, AMLO said, we have to act independently and according to our Constitution and in line with our tradition of independence and sovereignty. War is irrational, the Mexican president added. We are for peace. This is the same guy that actually said that it was a good thing to release El Chapo. This is the same guy that decided to leave a city to the drug cartels. This is the same guy that says that war is irrational after this massacre. I'm sorry, Mr. President, but war has already come to you. War has been in Mexico between the Mexican government and the drug cartels ever since 2006, and even longer if I were to say so myself, because of some American some issues towards the drug trade even before 2006. So I cannot believe how he specifically would say that. I do not. This only shows, though, that Mexico itself is a very corrupt place, and it's a very violent place. In fact, it is said that Mexico has the highest body count of journalists. There have been so many people that have called out against the cartels, from local mayors to journalists, and many of them have either disappeared or were found killed. and the Mexican government, despite sending in some forces and in a few police, does not really want to deal with this because of how powerful the drug cartels are. Well, I think it's time to act right now. This is a problem not just for Mexico, but for the United States. Right now, even though we're securing our border, our southern border, which is a great thing, especially with the border wall that's coming up. And in fact, there's supposed to be an estimate of 450 miles down by the end of 2020. This remains an issue for both countries. We have to deal with the drug trade at this even right now. We have to deal with the cartels that are even in the United States. They have made many connections as a result of just the increased demand of drug use. Honestly, I say that enough is enough, and that the Mexican government should step up, as well as the United States government, which is why I definitely support Donald Trump's issuing of wanting to wage war on the drug cartels, because I think it's time we decide to say no to them. That we are not going to take their bullshit anymore. Because the drug cartels have been causing a lot of issues within our countries. I said before, the drugs trade, which is poisoning American and Mexican citizens, but also on the amount of violence that they're committing. Like I said before in the Wall Street Journal, 250,000 Mexican lives have been lost since 2006. 250,000, and many of them happen to be civilians. This has gone on for long enough. I believe that we need to confront this. We need to go to the root of the problem. We need to stop these drug cartels. If we just somehow just kick the can down the road, like so many other people have done, it's just going to get worse. The problem's going to get worse. I say that for anyone who's in Mexico or in the United States, I think it's time we join forces and said, "Fuck this shit," and attempt to defeat the drug cartels once and for all. I think that's definitely what we need to do, and I think that would be the appropriate means in order to deal with the drug cartels. Yes, they do have a lot of this, a lot of these their own conventional resources in order to try to remain a major powerful organization. Hell, El Chapo actually used a submarine in order to transport drugs across the United States, or across from Mexico into the United States. That's what I mean. But that doesn't mean we should just bend the knee toward them. I say we should deal with it, and we should confront the issue head on. I definitely believe that is the case, because right now, considering how bad the situation is in Mexico with corruption as well as the violence and the drugs, it's just going to get worse. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised that this is in part supposed to be a little bit of a political message to Donald Trump, for the drug cartels to say, "Hey, come over here and get us." Well, honestly, I believe that the drug cartels have awakened the sleeping giant, and I think they've just not only pissed off the United States, but the entire Mexican public as a result. And I'm pretty sure that that the citizens of both countries will be demanding action as a result after this. My name is Noemi, and on the Arc Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding how I make my videos or how I speak or whatever, please be sure to post them down in the comment section down below, or directly message me up above. Thank you.
almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain.